first, I hope it's still safe to say a happy new year to everybody. Yes, I missed you all a lot, and I hope you tried all our recipes, especially the Christmas edition. I hope you tried everything out. Well, on today's episode, we are going straight to the western parts of Nigeria. We are making the eforiro and pounded yam. That is what they call the eforiro and inyo. Yes. So we're making this whole deliciousness today, and you do not want to miss that. But before we go on, I hope you still remember my name. I am Chef Mercy. Welcome back. Yes, on today's episode, we are making the eforiro and pounded yam. And these are the major ingredients needed to make this deliciousness. And of course, this is the star ingredient, the Nigerian spinach. The Yoruba call it efo shoko. Yes, they call it efo shoko. So this is for our base. We need just little or no amount of tomatoes. And this is a scotch bonnet. This is the cayenne pepper. And this is onions. And for our proteins, we're making use of beef. Yes, we're making use of beef. We're making use of the cow skin. And of course, the cow tripe. Yes, what's a eforiro without the cow tripe? But feel free to use whatever protein of your choice. And this is crayfish. This is palm oil. And over here, this is not really compulsory, but they call me Madam Extras. I like to do the extras, right? And yes, so I'll be using this dried shrimps. And over here we have our smoked fish and also the stockfish, yes. And of course, this one is very important. Yes, this is very important. This is the locust bean. The Yoruba call it iru. Yes, iru. It's very, very compulsory for this recipe. So with time, I might introduce some other ingredients, but of course, these are the main ingredients. So without wasting time, let's get cooking. So firstly, we want to start by seasoning our protein. And for seasoning the protein, you don't need too much. You just need beef seasoning, seasoning cube, and salt to taste. So put that in, stir very well, and then you can add water. Do whatever you want to do at this point. Yes, do whatever you want to do at this point. I'll also go again with sliced onions. Yes, you need onions. And if you know me very well, you know how I'm always generous when it comes to onions. Yes, stir that in properly, stir that in, and then go in with some water. Enough to cook your meat. And for this meat, we have the cow tripe and the cow skin. So just stir everything in and allow the meat to cook. Allow to cook, yes. So you need to allow it to cook properly, and you need a medium high heat for this. So let's cover and allow to cook. All right, so at this point, our protein is 50% cooked. Yes, 50% cooked. So I need to go in with the stockfish. Yes, you can actually cook your stockfish along from the beginning, but it depends on the tender nature of your stockfish. So I'll be going in with this now because it's not really tough. Yes, stir that in properly, then allow to cook again. So we'll be coming back to check on this because we need it to be properly cooked, especially the cow skin and the cow tripe. So we need it to be properly cooked. Before I use my spinach, I like to blanch it, and it's a very simple process. I have already sliced and washed this clean with room temperature water. Next, I gently add the spinach into a pot of hot water. This allows the spinach to soften without overcooking. After a few seconds, once the spinach has wilted, I remove it immediately and place it into cold water to stop the cooking process and lock in the green color. Then I drain the spinach and gently squeeze out the excess water. And just like that, my spinach is perfectly blanched and ready to use. Now, let's go into the cooking proper. Alright, let's see if our meat is ready. At this point, the meat is 80% cooked. Remember, we're going to cook this with the soup, so you don't need it to be completely cooked. And you don't need too much water, liquid, or the stock, because we'll be using the stock for the soup. So let's take it off the heat and start with the soup proper. So in a dry pot, you go in with your palm oil. You have to allow this heat up for about 2 minutes. Yes, you don't need it to be bleached. You just need it to be very, very hot before you go in with the rest of the ingredients. So once your oil is hot, you go in with your properly diced onions. And then, remember the locust beans, right? Locust beans. Guys, you know what we're doing at this point? We are building aroma. Yes, we are building that aroma. So this will just help give your eforivo that rich taste. Okay. I'll also be going in with some blended crayfish. This will just help build the aroma. Like, guys, even at this point, the aroma in my kitchen is heavenly. Yes. So it will just be, at this point, your neighbors should come knocking like, what's going on? What's going on? We have to do this. We have to leave this for like 5 minutes here. Leave this for like 5 minutes. In fact, leave this until your neighbor comes and be like, what's going on? What's going on? So 5 minutes later, or my neighbor just came. So now we have to go in with our pepper mix. Yes. So this is the base. This is the base. Go in with the pepper mix, and this is basically just the scotch bonnet, the cayenne pepper, onions, and little amount of fresh tomatoes. Yes, you don't need too much tomato. Some people don't put it. It's very optional, but me, I love to add small tomatoes to my base. So at this point, you have to leave it and allow it to fry before we go in with the rest of the ingredients. So once your base is looking like this, it's dried. You know you have to go in with the rest of the ingredients. So right now we'll be going in with our proteins. Keep the stock, you'll need it later to loosen up the base. So now at this point, you have to make sure you're doing all of this on medium-low heat. You don't want your base burning, you do not want that. And of course, you know this episode is proudly sponsored by Salad Master, the makers of premium cookwares for healthy and delicious meals, just like this. So remember the smoked fish. I didn't actually cook this with the rest of the protein because it's not really tough. So if you put it from the beginning, it might fall apart. So you can go in with your smoked fish at this point. So you have to stir this in properly. At this point, we've not gone in with any seasoning because you'll be putting your meat stock and you don't need it to be too seasoned, over seasoned, let's put it that way, or too salty. So what we have here is locust beans. Remember, normally locust beans used to be like the traditional seasoning. Back in the days, during the times of grandparents, they were not using seasoning cubes. They just used locust beans and enough crayfish. Yes. So at this point, we have to go in with the meat stock to loosen the base. Remember, it's vegetable soup. You don't need your soup too runny and you don't need it too thick. At this point, you can taste and adjust with any ingredients. Okay, so for me, I think I will have to adjust with more crayfish. Yes, more crayfish. You know, I'm always very generous with crayfish. And for this, trust me, You need to be very generous with crayfish for this recipe. Cover and allow this to cook before we go in with the vegetable, the spinach. Yes, you know, I love to do the extras, so I'll be going in with some dried shrimps. Yeah, very, very optional. You really do not need to go in with that. So now we have to go in with our vegetable. Yes, and you have to do this in batches. Like you have to go in batches. Stir that in properly. You know, some people really like their eforivo to have should I say to be more stewy? Yes, to be. Why some prefer the vegetable more than the stew base. But for me, I love mine in between. I love everything being balanced. Yeah. You see, so in case you've been cooking your eforivo and then you're always having too much liquid, just know it's because you don't blanch your vegetable. So you can see we have the best texture of eforivo sitting pretty here. And then if you really want to check out the meaning of eforivo, I think you should be should I say turned vegetable? That's what it means in English. But maybe there's a hidden meaning or a mystery meaning of which we'll try to find out. Yes. And if you know the full meaning, the meaning of eforivo, you can drop it in the comments. Let's see who gets the right meaning of eforivo. So you know me, I love the extras. I would love to layer this lastly with some crayfish. So I said once you're making this, make sure you're very generous. Very, very generous with crayfish. So once your vegetable is already here, you don't need to do too much again. You don't need to leave it for too long because you need it still very fresh and healthy. So we'll just cover this and allow it to cook for just 1 minute. 1 minute, we're taking this off. No, just look at this. Tell me, would you be trying this out? So at this point, our vegetable or eforivo, yes, the Yorubas call it the eforivo, it is ready. Remember, we're going to pair this with pounded yam. Yes. And of course, you know, I can never eat it alone. So we'll be having a guest. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back. So our deliciousness is ready. You can see this and this. So I won't be eating all of this alone, you know, right? Who is joining us to devour this? International singer, one and only Jenny Eagle. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for joining me on Aroma. So today we have eforivo, but before we go there, how's your journey down here?
It was great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're having eforivo. Is it your first time
Of
eating eforivo?
I think so, yes.
Your first time? Okay. And I know it will not be the last. I know after tasting this, you would run to the recipe. You want to see the recipe, so you would recreate this.
Yeah.
Okay, without wasting much time, let's dive straight into the business of today. Yeah, so that's what.
So I'm going to use this.
Yes.
Because you know we are in Nigeria and we're supposed to use our hands to devour this beautiful food I'm seeing right now.
I'm telling you for sure, that's the best way to go. That's how you get the real traditional taste of this.
Okay.
Has it?
I think I should still take one more.
Okay, feel free. It's yours.
Mm.
Okay.
This one hits.
Okay.
This
So
is
this-
really, really delicious, amazing.
Hmm.
You're
Thank you.
really a great chef and a great
Thank you so
cook.
much.
Congrats.
Thank you so much. So this is from the western parts of Nigeria, and
Okay.
I'm not really surprised that you've not tasted it. So do you think you want to have this again?
Of course. In
Okay.
fact, I'm craving to take this home. So
Okay.
that when I get to my house, I'm going to sit down and you know what? Devour everything.
Okay. You're free. You're very, very free. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Hmm. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, so she's not just a singer, but a food lover too. All right, you heard from our guest that this deliciousness is a banger. So I bet you if you follow all of the steps, you'll get this deliciousness sitting right in front of you. You know you can be our next guest on this show. Just go straight to our social media platforms, write I love Eforiro, and then drop your location in the comment section. We're gonna pick randomly, so you could come enjoy all of this with us next week. I remain Chef Mercy. Enjoy your day.